What's going on? Thomas Rodriguez here. Thomas Rodriguez here, founder of Automation Empire. Once again, back to do a live with my boy Ryan. I flew all the way out here to Colorado, baby. A lot of people have been asking how come I haven't done a live in the last couple weeks. I've had a lot of errands. I've had a lot of business going on. And then just last week I was sick for almost a week straight. But wanted to keep you guys informed. Again, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. This is actually going to be a first testimonial where my client is actually suspended on Amazon currently. Yes?
Yes.
Why don't we dive into just, again, really the meat and potatoes, as they say, as I say.
Yeah, so I'm from Colorado, born and raised. Western Colorado is where I grew up. This is, we live kind of just outside of Boulder. I'm just north of Boulder in Longmont, Colorado. Is where I'm currently. I met Tommy through a friend 2 years ago now.
Yep.
2 years ago. And pretty much signed up right away. And it's just kind of been a fun ride since then. So I'll let you get into that.
What made you, the friend that referred you to the service, what made you want to get into this?
I think whenever I just looked at what you were doing, and how you were doing it, and just kind of the track record that you had, I think that was one of the things that really drew me. Was just that, I've learned just over the years that the biggest thing that to be the most successful was basically finding people that know what they're doing, and basically attaching yourself to them. And so this just looked like a good opportunity to team up with you and kind of have this type of opportunity to build on. And
awesome.
And whenever it comes down to it, I'm a big time investor. Everything with me is about investing, and so I'm trying to find whatever way I can to make multiple streams of income.
Diverse. What do you do? What do you do now outside of Amazon automation? Do you have a job? Do you have other? Obviously, you just said investments,
Yep.
but what other kind of investments? Like, what is your other bread and butter that you do?
So my main focus is marketing consulting. I also do real estate investing, so multifamily, commercial properties, real estate investing. I also have cryptocurrency. I have oil share revenues. So it's like basically just having a bunch of different things. And so this is, my big goals are having 5 different sources of income. And so this was kind of one of those pieces that was kind of fill into that. So
what would you say, like, is your biggest, you came in like 2019. Now, 2019, for those who know, I've had a lot of hiccups back then. I had some shitty employees, shitty workers, shitty things going around. And I think it made quite a few people back in the day question, where's T-Rod going? Where's Tommy Rodriguez going? Is he going to flop? Is he going to shut down for business? Or what's going to happen? Now, you were around during those times. Can you speak upon, like, your personal experience? Were you frustrated? You joined in, I think, April or March 2020?
Yeah.
2019?
Yes.
Okay. So you've seen...
store launched in April.
April 2019.
April 2019.
So now it's about 2 years.
2 years.
What can you tell the people that might watch this video in terms of where I was back then to where I'm at now?
Your heart's still in the same place. I don't think you directly talked to a lot of people right off the bat. So it's like kind of earlier on. So it's like I directly talked to you.
Yeah.
And the conversation that we had was look, I'm going to do my best to make sure that I take care of your investment. And it's like you're always going to get honesty from me. You're always going to know this, and you're always going to know kind of what we're doing. And you told me is give it 12 months before you really start making an educated decision.
Yeah.
And so before you start really getting upset about anything if something's not going well. So I came in with the expectations that I knew that things were going to take a little bit of time to develop. I was not I see these stores that are launching now, and they're like doing $100,000 in their second month. I'm like, what the hell?
What's going on here? I didn't get that lucky.
We got some testosterone injected in there, adrenaline, excuse me. And but it's so I think that was just one of the biggest things is that I knew that you were going to take care of the investment. I knew that there was always going to be something that there in the end, and I knew you would not just leave me high and dry. So it was going to be a thing that I kind of had to be there. And there was some moments that I kind of had to question it, and there was, I think, definitely some issues that I kind of felt like where I questioned the VAs and what was going on and whether orders were being shipped and what was and it just kind of turned into this thing, and it's like, okay, is this working? And then a year later is whenever it really started to pick up. So, and that was a year ago now.
So you were in 2019. You seen some of the bad. So in comparison to where it is now, my heart's obviously still in the same place, but the level of growth, would you say it's at least 10x compared to when it was then?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Obviously, with like the system, Sasha, Melissa, what do you think of all the stuff that we've done?
Well, I think infrastructure-wise is completely different because like there was the days where it was like messaging you on Facebook your other assistant at the time, and all the things that were going on. So there were random emails back and forth, or just however it was going. But it's like, just since the ticketing system has made it a lot more consolidated, convenient. It's like I can go. I like the resources that are in there. If, I've had to deal with a couple 72-hour suspension notices, and so I deal with the resources that are for that, which is what nobody wants to deal with, but it is what it is. So it's just nice to at least have it available.
Were you obviously you knew of a lot of the expectations I told you when we spoke, and it's crazy again how time has just it's just flown. It's been 2 fucking years already. You know what I mean? And back then, obviously, I laid down the ground rules of suspensions as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hide that from you, saying that wasn't impossible, right?
Right. No, I mean, I knew that one of the biggest things was if I can make it through the Christmas season in 2019, I'm like, okay, if I make it through 2019, it's going to be easy sailing from here. At least that's kind of what I thought. And it's like, of course, it didn't work out that way.
How many times have you been suspended, including now?
This is the second time.
So basically in about 2 years, suspended about twice. And again, he was just currently suspended, how long ago?
It was Saturday.
This Saturday, and today's Thursday. Today's
Thursday,
April 1st, 2021. And we're obviously working on getting that store back. And for those who might be watching this video in 3 months, 6 months, or maybe you're watching it now, that there's a lot of competition from other Amazon automation, other services, to FBA sellers, to Chinese sellers, meaning there's a lot of people on there who do a lot of black hat that will try to eliminate you off the platform. There's regular customers that will buy from your store and then see it came from Walmart, Home Depot here, and then check blogs and forums and then start getting ideas to report you, shut you down. So there's so much competition trying to eliminate people and trying to shut them down. So all types of suspensions are totally different, from your order defect rate, your tracking, to people reporting you. So there's so many different variables, and there's a lot of variables that we really can't control. Of course, we have an in-house suspension team that if you do get suspended, we can handle it and can get your store back. Now, keep in mind, this model at the current time of you watching this video, we do 100% drop shipping on Amazon. I've been doing this model since 2014. It still works, but just like any other business, any other service, you have to adapt and changes when let's say Amazon makes changes, or a supplier, you have to change sometimes the way you obviously do business. So again, it's just us just throwing it out at you guys so you guys understand, again, the possible risks. So you've been suspended now for about 5 days total, right?
Yep.
Why don't we show them? Why don't we just dive into, because again, people love seeing numbers. People are numbers people. Why don't we pick up your phone? If you could just show them like what you've done. He has no sales currently. Why don't we just show that to the screen? All right, so he's done about $566,000 in the last 12 months, just in case you guys didn't see that. And averagely, to be conservative, about 10% is profit. So here we also have his, and this is now, you do have a CPA and a bookkeeper, right?
Yes.
Like, are you doing these books?
No.
Or do you have somebody?
I have somebody.
Okay. Basically, January, it was negative. We don't know why. Refunds, issues. Obviously, when you open up, let's just say a McDonald's franchise, you put in $750, $1 million. You still have to fix the ice cream machine. You still have to pay your employees. And sometimes a lot of these bigger businesses, or when you get into business, even probably for real estate, don't you sometimes have to fix it before you can rent it out sometimes after you acquired the property?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So there are some negatives. All right, so this is all the way here. If you want to switch the page, I think you also, what was your biggest month?
My biggest month was November.
November 2020?
Yep.
What was that?
$35,000 net.
And so again, guys, you guys can see like everything is broken down here. Now, I want to point out InstaPay. InstaPay, for those who don't know what that is, it's basically a company that allows you to get paid quicker, and they lend you the money, correct?
Right.
And so they have their own fees. So if you really want to calculate his InstaPay fees, he obviously didn't need that, but is there any reason why you did get that?
Well, so basically, I mean, I came into going right before Thanksgiving. I remember actually the day before Thanksgiving, I was like freaking out because my credit cards were maxed because I had a $9,000 card and a $20,000 card, and I was doing so much volume I couldn't handle it. I think my best day was like $40,000. And so I was like freaking out trying to figure out how am I going to get all this done. I keep getting emails saying, hey, your card's maxed out. And I'm like, and I couldn't get the payments over fast enough. So I'm like running to one bank, trying to get cash to run it over to another bank. to basically pay off the card. And finally, I was able to get a new account opened up with that bank, which helped a little bit. But basically, I went to Instapay because I needed some way to kind of find that intermediary in between that 2 weeks for the delay when Amazon was paying out, and to figure that out. Because if I didn't do that, there was no way I was gonna be able to. I was gonna have to put the store on vacation.
How much capital did you come in here with? Like when you first came, like when you first bought my service?
Not much. So
10,
I had
20?
So I had $9,000 card, and then I had I think another $7,000 card or something like that at the time. So I didn't have much, and then I was basically running off of my original investment came through my home equity line of credit.
Okay.
And then that's kind of where I was pulling some of my cash from as I needed it.
Yeah. Now, guys, one thing I wanted to elaborate on is when it comes to credit, how much should you have? A lot of things have obviously changed since 2019. And again, I've been doing this model since 2017, pretty much the middle of the year. I didn't really go live till about 2018 with Amazon automation and made it a public thing. And obviously, I've learned, I've grown, I've adapted, I've made changes, I've made it better. Now, one thing that we have in our contract, and even the sales team, if you decide that you want to hop on a call, they will tell you that you should have at least 15 to 20,000 on a credit card at all times, give or take, so that we could process orders. Now, obviously, if you want, at least, if you want to grow and do $100,000 a month in sales in the last 30 days, it's going to be damn near impossible to do that with 15, 20,000. You're going to want at least 40 to 50 grand to be able to produce those numbers in terms of, in terms of revenue or whatever profit you're trying to, establish. So again, 15 to 20,000 traditionally to start. So your overall profit has been about $53,000.
Just under 54.
So a little under
last year.
Yeah, that's last year.
Yeah.
And now, did you do any legwork whatsoever? Did you process orders, find any products? Did you handle returns? What was your job that you had to do, or was it actually passive, as I say it is?
The only thing I had to do, so the DoorDash, that was the other kind of the factor that came into that. So I will say probably for that period of time, honestly, I was ignoring DoorDash calls. So I would say don't do that. That actually didn't help me at all. But I definitely, we kind of worked it out so I could figure out that piece. But that was just kind of one of those things that we didn't expect to happen. So.
Correct. So basically, would you say, for the most part, outside of the DoorDash thing, and for those who don't know what that was, DoorDash is basically like Postmates. They order food, they send it out, and Walmart partnered up with them, so they don't provide tracking numbers. And a lot of times that DoorDashers will just leave it in a bag, and it just looks really shitty. And they partnered up with them probably about 4 to 5 months ago, maybe even 6 now. And it was very annoying because obviously if you don't have tracking numbers, how are you supposed to upload tracking numbers into your fulfillment center, into your Amazon selling account? Again, we obviously found a temporary solution by removing a lot of items, and we're working on other fixes. But for the majority of my accounts and clients, they don't really have to deal with a lot of that right now because we're being more selective on what products we actually list, because the DoorDash thing was causing a huge nightmare. And again, in business, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing, like his results, I'm going to just put my disclaimer actually right here. Usually it's towards the end of the video. Past results of any of my current clients do not dictate or guarantee any kind of future results for anybody that's watching this video. So again, if you're watching it, I'm not making any promises that you're going to do $53,000. Hell, we had a client last month in March, and just to jump off topic, he did $100,000 in one single month in actual profit. And other clients, 50,000, 40,000, 20, or 10, or 5, whatever the numbers are, guys, I can't make you a promise that you're going to achieve those same numbers. Obviously, it's going to vary on capital to your VA, to issues, to how long your store's been live, to when you get suspended, because it's not if, it's when you will get suspended. Of course, we do take care of it, and we do get your store out of suspension. Now, your first suspension, when you got suspended, how long were you down for? And did they have any money being tied up?
That was 3 months. I think it was just short of 3 months, and it was they were holding on to 30 grand?
20, 30?
I think it was like 30 grand.
30 grand. Were you stressed out?
Oh, yeah.
Because how'd you pay your credit card?
HELOC. My home equity line. So I was like, I'm pulling all the money out of my house and basically sitting there. So it's like I've got a maxed out home equity line of credit. I don't have any cash coming in. I'm trying to figure this out. So it was nice whenever I got the payday.
When you
finally got released.
I was just gonna say that. So when Amazon finally released your funds, how'd you feel?
Well, at least I felt like I had money in my account now, so I was able to do some stuff. So went back into the home equity line, but just kind of given that. So, I mean, that's kind of been my investment strategy, which maybe we can talk about.
Awesome.
How that, but.
Now, guys, keep in mind, again, when you get suspended, Amazon has the right to hold your money for traditionally about 90 days, give or take, because they want to make sure that you're not scamming people. They want to make sure people are still getting their products. And recently, they just lost a certain type of lawsuit that they're not actually supposed to hold on to your funds. Now, I have no idea when this is actually going into play, but I believe it was just basically saying that they can't hold your money indefinitely. Again, don't take this for what it is. Again, I have no idea when that's going to actually apply or if something's going to happen and change it up, but I personally have no idea. Again, suspensions are a real thing. Currently, at the time of you watching this video, we have over 750 clients with a suspension rate right now about actually 7 to 8%. We've been getting stores back about 2 to 3 stores a day. Right now, it's actually really starting to ramp up, like in terms of getting stores back. But again, I don't like to lie or bullshit you guys and tell you like you're never going to get suspended. You could get suspended fucking 2 days in, 2 weeks in, 2 months in. Hell, I have a lot of clients that have been with me for years that have never been suspended. But it is a real possibility, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm misleading or bullshitting when I say that. It's a real thing. So if you come in here, you have to know that it has that risk. But of course, again, all you lose, like most of my other videos say, is you just lose time. You don't actually lose your investment by being suspended. So I just want to throw that out at you. So you've been with us for a while. You've seen the growth. You've seen the level. You've seen the numbers. You've seen that this actually works for you. What kind of advice can you give to anyone that's currently watching this video that doesn't even know who the fuck I am, right, that might be watching this video that's like, who is this douchebag or who's this guy? Is he with a paid actor? I guess just kind of give them just like straightforward, like just overall feedback or thoughts that for anyone that's watching this video, I guess.
I think I think if any, the advice I would give is understand that this is an investment, that this is not something that's meant to pay out like massive amounts. I told Melissa, I said one of the things is like I didn't come out here with this with this idea that I was going to become filthy rich with it. I have a certain investment strategy that I put into play, and that was basically, I use the equity in my house as a way to drive through different investments that I'm doing, and so whatever money comes in from this is immediately going in to pay that down. And awesome. So it's like however fast or slow that comes in, that's the way it's paid out. I mean, at this point, I haven't actually got anything paid out because I've got 70 grand almost sitting in the bank right now. Working with my CPA to put myself on a payroll, so that's just kind of the way that we're doing that, and that's the way that she advised to do that. So it comes into whatever money comes in. I have a strategy that's just basically built around, not necessarily not being dependent upon this in any way. Now, that doesn't mean that there wasn't times. I mean, a year ago, I was freaking out. I was stressed out. I was driving Uber just to try to make ends meet just from where I'm at. And it was like, I'm sitting here wondering, okay, now I'm going into suspension and I'm dealing with this, and then COVID's going crazy and everything's like nuts. And I'm like, is this going to work out? And that's kind of whenever I did question it a little bit. So it's like I went through these periods where I just kind of really had to question, was it working? Was it working right? I had to really kind of just be willing to sit back and trust and know that you guys were doing it, doing the right things. And that's whenever I really started to see. I loved the communication I was seeing in our group that we had, and what you were doing to bring in the right teams, make the infrastructure investments that truly ran this like a business. Yeah. And so it's like for me, it's like the advice I have, understand that, let things play out, let things, don't get dependent upon this. I think that's the biggest stress. Yeah. It's like if you're dropping money into this and expecting to get a consistent paycheck, then you're in the wrong business.
Correct.
But it's like, but if you're dropping something in and expect maybe to get big chunks here and there, and hopefully over the period of time, over a couple of years, it works out, great. Even like now, I still look, and this is what I don't know if I said this here or if I said this on the site, but it was, you look at some of these people that have been in for a couple months and seeing, them doing these massive
crazy
months and making all this profit. I'm like, it gets stressful at times, but it's like I just have to keep remembering, hey, my time will come. My time will come. I'm trusting the process. So
correct.
And I love what you guys are doing. So.
But you've made more than your investment back, so that's obviously a great thing. And guys, really just to piggyback off some of the stuff you just said, this isn't something where you're going to go get Lamborghini money, Rolls Royce, and stuff like that. Now, I'm not acting like you can't do that because, again, in this video and even some of my clients' testimonials, again, we had a guy do $100,000 net profit in March. We have other clients that produced $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 net profit. Again, most likely before paying the VAs and stuff like that, but Keep that in mind. This has all been hands-free. And again, there's some clients that produce only 2-3K a month. You have to look at it as one, this is a 12 to 18 month investment. Obviously, I'm not going to guarantee that you'll make it back in under 12 months like a lot of my clients who have, but you should expect that when you invest the money that it should be gone for at least 18 months. Consider it like cryptocurrency and stocks. That shit goes up and down. You don't always want to pull out. You want to hold. You want to play the long-term game. And obviously, I think you might be able to relate to this. It's also like rental properties, right? Yeah. If you have a rental property, what happens when a tenant doesn't pay? Who has to come out of pocket? You have to come out of pocket. So, and then eventually if they do pay, then guess what? Then you caught right back up, right? So it's the same thing. Suspensions and all that other stuff is not the end of the world. And again, when I say 12 to 18 months, again, a lot of clients have made it back in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. There's so many different variables. Of course, I want the majority of the people to make it back in under a year, because guess what? The more people make it back in under a year, the more people are willing to talk about it. The more people are willing to share about it. Again, my affiliate program. So there's so many more benefits to obviously trying to make everyone their money back as fast as possible. And personally, for me, for 30 grand, which is obviously the cost of my service, for the returns that you're getting here, and I believe a lot of my clients can testify that those returns sometimes are hard to find in the market. You know, some clients are making 20, 30, 40% ROI. And again, some clients are making 10, 8, 15. Obviously, every month it will be different. So like you said, don't depend on month to month to month. Like, hey, you made 8K this month, thinking, okay, I'm going to make 8 grand next month. You know what I mean? So it might not work like that. You might make 12. You might make 6. You might lose the buy box. There's so many different factors. Now, I do an IG live. I let people come on, ask their questions. Does anyone have any questions that you could tell? We have a guy inside of our group that you can pay $750 to do it for you, and you can consider that just some of your working capital that you have to play with. Again, you could do it yourself, but unless you really know what you're doing, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
I will say I kind of cut some corners whenever I was trying to sign up. I was trying to, you spend all this money for dining, so I was like, okay, I'll do this part and fill these out, and these are messes right now that my CPA is trying to clean up.
So you learned the hard way.
So I'm learning the hard way. Now I'm paying her to clean up these tax returns from the past. Apparently in Kansas I filed twice. I don't know what I did.
It happens.
I did these weird things.
You want to have a credit card. If you have the money in just a debit card, most of the time that bank's going to hold you up, and they're probably not going to let you do more than 10, 15 purchases a day. I have seen some banks let you slide with 20, 25 purchases, but as your store grows and you got 50, 100 orders a day that you need to process, your bank's not going to let that. It's not going to let it work.
Plus, it's good vacation money.
Yeah.
And I think we're looking right now. I've got about $5,000 in rewards points that we're looking to go.
Just from using the credit card.
So it's like, I don't know, I bought myself a nice lawnmower. I love a lawnmower. And then we're going to Florida next, for Disney World.
And that's one thing that we don't even talk about as much a lot on these videos, is the points and the systems that you get just from using credit cards. Again, you get points, you get free trips, again, I have some other clients who've paid for free trips for their whole family just with the points. And one client posted in the group just, I don't know, maybe a month ago, dude made $20,000 just in actual rewards and actual dollars amount. Like, that's $20,000 just in points alone, I think in the year 2020, if not, maybe that was in a couple months. I can't remember the exact post, but I remember him posting it, and that's crazy, making your investment back just on that alone. I think that's a personal preference on who you are. What kind of cards do you use?
I have the Chase Ink card.
The Chase Ink?
I've got a $70,000 limit on it now.
70,000.
Big difference. An American Express.
Big difference from when you met me.
Yeah. God, that was a pain. It's taken a while to get there, and that's the thing is, like, I had to have a strategy that was about building that credit up and getting that going, because it's like it was $50,000 right after this last Christmas. I just got it raised to $70,000 the other day, because I'm like now preparing for next Christmas, because it's like if I can get it up to $150,000 to $200,000 would be my goal.
Yeah, and guys, a lot of people use Chase, the Chase. Some people use Plum. Some people use Amex. So it's going to be a personal preference.
Kind of what you can get, I guess.
Yeah. We came out to this beautiful area he took it to. I think, what's it called, a reserve or reservoir?
Lagerman Reservoir.
Yeah, there you go. That's
one of my favorite spots.
That's the word.
I love it out here.
It's beautiful mountains. It's peaceful. It's quiet. So, yeah. No, you don't. And traditionally, those have slowed down a lot. There were some people that were getting like 50 calls a day. And again, we obviously found that solution by just eliminating that altogether. I'm not acting like it still won't happen, but we are trying to find another permanent solution so that we can list DoorDash products. And I think we do have that fixed with something that I have coming up next month, which I didn't even tell you about yet. So that's something else. You can get the review removed. You could get that removed, but traditionally, you're not going to make everyone happy as a customer on Amazon. So don't try to, and that doesn't necessarily always affect you. Obviously, like a lot of what's going on right now in this space is a lot of inauthentic claims and a lot of drop shipping policy violations, which they didn't bother people for the last year, 2 years when they came out. But however, like I said in the beginning of this video, there's a lot of people who are competitors that, again, Amazon FBA sellers, other Amazon automation services, to Chinese sellers, to people on blogs and forums. So there's a lot of people out there that will literally buy from your store and literally just report you or call into Amazon trying to shut you down because they have a scarcity mindset and they feel there's a limited amount of money. So yeah. But that's why I say that, you can get hit with any of this stuff at any time. But, I mean, we have good scripts in Freshdesk, and on top of that, we have the in-house suspension team ready to rock and roll and get you out of suspension.
Well, in my case, it took a year and a half. Just a little bit over a year and a half.
A little bit, yeah. So about 18, 19 months, give or take. Give or take, yeah, about 18, 19 months. Biggest month was October, November. So, and you got started in, April till then, yeah. So about a year and a half. And again, that's why I preach 12 to 18 months, because if you watch any of my other lives with clients, there's some clients that will tell you it's been 4 to 6 months. And other clients, again, 12 to 18 months. But he was patient, right? He was patient. He understood the game. We spoke in the beginning, and, here he is still now. Suspension or not, again, he was still willing to show you guys and share his story with you guys to show you that even through all the bullshit, he's still here. And his store is actually kicking some ass, despite, well, maybe not this moment, but yeah, you know what I mean.
I felt being in suspension right now is like the perfect summation for like kind of highlighting the ups and downs of my store over the last 2 years.
Absolutely, man. I get that question so much. You know what? People have been asking me that same shit since 2014. When I first started doing it, people were like, bro, it's not going to last more than another year. Here we are 6-7 years later, and it's still around, so I can't really tell you. And honestly, at the end of the day, we have other things that we're cooking up and we've been doing that we can always introduce to you guys, obviously, if something ever happened. But I don't think it would ever be dead, truly dead. They make so much money off drop shippers alone on Amazon and other sites. But truly, to be honest with you guys, it's like any business or brick and mortar. You can't really tell how it's going to go. You just have to let it run its course. You have to let it do its thing and, see it through. Anyways, guys, with that said, we got to get ready to wrap it up for the night anyways, and the sun's going down. Appreciate every single person that tuned into this video. Make sure you hit the like button. Last thing I'll leave you with is, again, if you're watching this video and you're curious, where do you find info? 1, this video obviously broke down a lot of the things that you might have questions. 2, visit TommyRodriguez.com, watch the video. From there, you could go ahead, book a call with my sales team, and if you like what you hear, you could get a contract that was sent out to you, they could send out to you, and then you could give that to your lawyers or whatever you want to do, review it, and see if it's a right fit for you. At the end of the day, just make sure that if you feel that this is a fit for you, that you understand all the bullshit and the risk that does come with it. There's a lot more pros than there is cons, but again, we're not here selling pipe dreams, selling you that you're getting a Lamborghini tomorrow. We're not doing any of that. If you're able to get the money to be able to do those things, great, but otherwise look at this as a supplemental income. Otherwise, guys, we'll see you at the top.